Thank you. So I'm going to get started. So my name is Christy Sanders, and I am a National Account Manager for TCI. TCI is Teachers Curriculum Institute, and we are a specialty publisher. So all we do is work with history, social science, and science. Those are our two curricular areas. And so I am here this evening to share with you our programs. So again, TCI is Teachers Curriculum Institute. Our standing point is that we are teachers. We are by teachers for teachers. So all of our curriculum is developed by teacher specialists in conjunction with scholars, thinking through the teacher's eyes so that our goal is really to have the best materials and learning experiences for both teachers and students. We are used across the nation. More specifically, our company is based out of Northern California, but we are adopted across the nation in large school districts all the way down to small school districts. So our whole purpose is really to make sure that students are engaged in their learning. And so we are moved beyond just a textbook-based program. So you'll see where we make sure that we're standards aligned. We'll use a heavy use of primary sources, videos, activities, geography challenges, inquiry projects as we go through our materials, but it's really so that our students can be engaged in our learning. These are our 3 middle school programs for Oregon. So we do have a custom 6th grade Oregon edition. So in Oregon, the standards for 6th grade are the Western Hemisphere. For 7th grade, it is our History Alive the World through 1750, which is our Eastern Hemisphere program. And then for 8th grade, we have History Alive the United States through Industrialism. So that's our middle school series. Our teacher materials, we start with a very rich online program. So teachers will have access to all of the materials online. This is a place where they can both do lesson planning as well as teaching and sharing of resources with students. Everything that you see here, they'd have a print teacher guide. They would have access to everything the students have access to. And then we also have everything for our student materials. So students too would have an online platform. In addition, they'd have everything that's in that online platform is in the printed textbook. We have interactive student notebooks for our students. This is places where in print they would complete their work. And then everything that you see here, and it should be mentioned here, everything is both in print in English as well as Spanish. So online, print, you'd have equal access for both programs. So the way that our programs are set up is that you have big picture unit overviews. So every program has these units, and within units you have lessons. So the units have rich resource materials from unit opener projects to all the way to unit closers. And then you would see all of the different variety of libraries that we have to support these resources. Every unit will start with some kind of inquiry project. So it kind of depends on the program that you're looking at and reviewing, but you would have access to inquiry. So starting with inquiry is really important for us and our students. Each lesson, the teacher's lesson page will have everything from start to finish. So they would have all of their differentiation needs. You would be able to see the flexible lesson options to make sure that each teacher can teach it within their classroom. So they'll have all of the materials all the way from your core lesson materials to extensions, and then all the way to your assessments. For each lesson, you're going to have a variety of lesson options. So teachers can do just the reading if they want to, but what we encourage is really those experiences where students are doing this hands-on learning. We believe that in order for students to understand perspectives and for them to get this richer resources, it's for them to actually participate in it. So we have these classroom activities that are pre-set up for them. They have all the directions, all the slides, all the videos already embedded. And then we're starting to also give teachers another avenue for teaching that through these video activities. So lessons are going to start building into the video activities for these for the lessons. Within reading, what you have access to is students can change their reading level. So they'll have 2 different options for reading level. They have a text to audio option. There's also a way to highlight main ideas. So if you have a student who's a struggling reader, they would be able to do that. They can actually highlight in their online text as well as take notes. This is also where a student can go through and they can go to the bottom of the page and they can just very seamlessly switch to Spanish for their Spanish translation. The second piece are those classroom activities. So this is where students are going to this is an example of where they're going to be analyzing artifacts. The students are going to have access to their interactive student notebook, either in print or online. And it's all about students really digging in and getting through and doing those activities so that they can have a richer experience versus just reading about it. We also have, again, video activities. So this is where students are going to take on different roles. They'll be given different storylines, and then they have opportunities to really see this in a different way, so that they can also be graded as they go through. They're automatically graded for teachers. These are also available in both English as well as Spanish. So lots of opportunities, lots of different ways for students to access the content. Every lesson will have dive deeper resources. So we really want to give teachers extensions. And so these dive deeper resources are going to be anything from investigating primary resources to extension readings to additional primary resources or literature to help make sure that students have a very well-rounded experience. These are going to be found both in the textbook as well as online only. So it's going to be a variety for every single lesson to really dig deeper for your students, and teachers can go through how they want to do that. For our assessments, we have a plethora of assessments. We have both summative assessments, which would be found at the end of each lesson. And then we also have formative assessments that will be found throughout. So students can find things that are called check for understanding, where they'll do a reading and then they can do drag and drops, or they'll choose different answers and they can check their answers and see how they're doing. If they get any questions wrong, they can scroll back to the top of the reading and really find their answers. We also have lesson games. So this is a place where students can go in, they can get auto scored, but there's going to be a game for every lesson. At the end of every lesson, we have a way for all students to show that they understand the content of the lesson through processing assignments. And then finally, we do have traditional summative assessments that can be given both online as well as in print. Again, all of this is both in English and in Spanish. As teachers are going through, it's really nice because teachers would be able to see their trends. So they can go through these lesson games, they can go through their assessments, they can see how well students are doing, they can see if the students need to go back for more intervention. So there's just going to be a lot of support pieces in there for the teachers to understand how the students are doing in their classroom. All assessments are customizable, so teachers can go in, they can customize questions, they can look and see, like, what did I actually teach in my classroom versus what are all the questions that TCI has created. So they can start from scratch, or they can really customize any of these assessments for them. We also want to make sure that we have this really rich teacher support. So teachers are going to have all of their planning resources right at hand, and these are going to be in printed teacher guides. It will give them all of their objectives, all the differentiation right at point of use, because we know that not all students in a classroom learn the same. We are going to have differentiation. So you'll have support. Teachers are going to have support for students who are English learners or students who have special needs, students who may be reading and writing below grade level, also students who are advanced learners. And then we're going to give teachers options for differentiation for how to make the lesson go faster, how to extend the lesson. So there's going to be, again, lots of flexible lesson options for teachers, including enhancing learning. So these are ways that teachers can go in and they can access the materials, they can access extra virtual field trips for their students. All of the teachers will have prep built in, so they know exactly how a lesson is going to be run, as well as support resources. So teachers are going to have access to skills and toolkits and vocabulary assessments, reading and ELD. So really the whole goal, again, is to get these students in there and excited about social studies. And so we're going to make sure that teachers have the support that they need in order to run their classrooms, including a whole variety of robust libraries. So they'll have video libraries, games libraries, video biography libraries. There are just a ton of resources, again, for teachers to make it flexible for their own classrooms. So these are just some examples of these libraries. Something that's also very important to your teachers here in Portland is making sure that students are rostered. It's really easy for them to sign in. So we do single sign in. So the students would be able to just sign right in. And then the LMS that's being used here is Canvas. And so we have a pure integration with Canvas so that as students are signing into Canvas, both at school and at home, teachers, if they wanted to, can connect all of their assignments directly through Canvas. Because all of this then encompasses through our online portal. So teachers would be able to use it both in print as well as online. So you can see, and I'm just in a program right now, I'm in 7th grade. So all of the things that I mentioned here, it's live. Here's your opening video. Here are all of my lessons. When as a teacher, if I go in here, I can see all of the support resources that I mentioned. So you can see here's all of my prepping and my planning, all of my lesson slideshows that are pre-done for me, all of my dive deeper assessment resources. And then here is the student reading. And so the student reading is going to be the same when you are in print as you are online. And the best part about this is that this is going to be a seamless experience for everybody as they go through. So within TCI, our goal is to get our kids up and moving and excited and really ready to learn. And we're going to do this through this platform as well as everything else that we have. So with that being said, how much longer do I have?
Christy, you have until 6:20, so
Okay,
you still have about 3.5 minutes if you'd like them. No,
okay,
thanks for
no,
checking.
I'm going to take, I've got like a timer going on my phone just in case. Okay. So I just want to like dive a little bit deeper into the online platform because there's one thing to show it in slides and then there's quite another thing to show it online. So within the lesson overviews, just kind of going back to the teacher materials. So teachers can get in here. The best thing about these is they're pre-done for the teachers. So everything's already built into the slides. These slides, for those of you who are on here as parents, your students will also have access to slides. So we don't just want it to be teacher facing, but we also want to make sure that those are shareable with the students, because once the students are in here, all they have to do is click the reading button and it will pull up the reading for the students as they go through. They can do the reading or they can go back to the presentation. The video activities that I mentioned that are coming through and they're starting to be built out. This is a place where you can see that all of the overviews are in here. There's going to be these really rich videos that are built in right at point of view. This is where students can get in, they can answer questions, and they will be auto scored, which is good for both your students as well as your teachers, because then they're not spending a ton of extra time grading. So all of this is built in this really rich platform. But one of the things that happens is when you're at home, you're like, what are my kids reading? So if they sign in through Canvas or if they sign in through TCI, as soon as a student signs in, you're going to be able to see exactly what they're doing in class, because it's going to be the same thing. So there's not any like extra like, oh my gosh, what are my kids doing? Teachers will be able to create these assignments. So on the student side, they would be able to, and it's not going there, but they would be able to see all of the assignments that the teachers have created. As a parent or as a guardian, you can go in, you can click these anything, and it will go into the places that teachers have created assignments. And then just so you can see, this is a place where it's a one-to-one platform. So if I am in English, all I have to do is go down to the bottom and click into Spanish. And I can go back and forth between the two languages. So if I needed that support, I would be able to do it. So it's going to be this really seamless, this seamless integration. These are all of our lesson games that you can see. So the students will have access to either vocabulary lesson games or just pure lesson games where they can go in here. They can play the game. This looks like Jeopardy, but they'll be able to answer questions. So that is all built in. And then this is all those extra rich resources that we have. So as you're reviewing, we have created some review resources specifically for the community. So you'll be able to get in there. You can see the table of contents. You'll be able to see access to see how TCI sets up. But again, TCI, really our goal at the end of the day is to get the teachers excited about using social studies and get the kids excited about being in those social studies classrooms so that they can have a better global view of our world. So with that being said, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
That timer on your phone served you well, Christy. That was perfect timing. I was just going to say we're almost up. So thank you, Christy from TCI. We appreciate you sharing this information with us. We'll have folks have an opportunity beginning at 6:50 to have questions and answers with each one of our vendors in breakout rooms. And so at this time, thank you, Christy. We'd like to invite our SAVIS representatives. They're going to be talking to us about the materials that they are offering for us. So I would like to introduce Deborah. Deborah, I'm going to hand it over to you. Thanks for being here tonight.
Great. Thanks so much, Jean. It's good to see you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and pray that all the tech works today. No judgment on my screens, everyone, please. All right. Can everyone see my screen all right?
Yes, thank you for checking.
Okay, and so I have exactly 20 minutes after the hour, and I think my stop is at 35. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct, and I'll be watching time for you.
Okay, I appreciate it. All right, well then let's go ahead and get started. I know that this is our community time today, And again, I'm Debbie Jones. I can't talk today. I'm the lead humanities specialist here at Savvis. And I've been working a lot with Jean and the crew with your teachers, your students, your family members, whomever may be part of the school system to work on this pilot currently. So as I talk today, I'm going to kind of talk to you with the lens of what kinds of things you might want to know about as parents or as loved ones at home or as possibly community members, and just to understand what kind of materials the students will have in front of them. So not so much a teacher lens, but more of what kind of cool stuff is in here that you might want to see. So just first and foremost, the reason that we're excited to say that we have definitely correlated to all of the Oregon Social Studies academic standards. And so know first and foremost that your students will have all the materials they need to be successful on their exams. And the titles that we're going to be reviewing today are our middle school titles. And those will include for 6th grade, World Geography, Western Hemisphere, for 7th grade, World Geography, Eastern Hemisphere, and then for 8th grade American history. Now, those come in a couple of different versions, a bigger, thick book from all of US history, or just the beginnings to Reconstruction. Now, for our 6th and 7th grade team, we also are providing a digital access to our world history title. And that's really going to help that geography content come to life by bringing in some of the history around it. Now, one of the things you just saw on my screen was a hardcover student edition. That's what students have. But we're going to also give students the experience of writing and engaging with social studies in something called an active journal. And this is really where the inquiry is happening, where students are taking notes and practicing vocabulary. And this is digital content that is downloadable. There are maps, there are opportunities for taking notes, for graphic organizers, vocabulary, etc. And every one of those teachers edition, or every one of those student editions has one to correspond. Now, these are printable as well as having that consumable, they're downloadable, and they're digitally accessible. And I want to talk a little bit about how that would look. I know that Portland Public Schools is a really serious Canvas district, and I want to show you just what that engagement looks like here at Savvis, because we do have a full platform integration with Canvas. And what that would look like for your students is simply for them to log into
Lesson 1,
Canvas,
the Industrial Revolution.
And see their ATEX.
In the early 1800s, busy factories and whirring machinery were part of a revolution that was spreading to the United States. Unlike the American Revolution, this one had no battles or fixed dates.
So students can engage with a video right in the text. They can answer questions, take notes. All of this is saved for them for the entire school year, right there in Canvas. They can click on images, make them full screen, and even highlight text like main ideas or details or things they want to remember and translate those.
¿Cómo cambió el trabajo entre 1800 y 1850?
Now we can translate that into Spanish or over 127 other languages, including Russian.
Как изменилась работа между 1800 и 1850 годами?
Now that's what our eText online looks like in Canvas. But when we engage with that active journal, the pages come to life. Students can type in the boxes in the PDF tool. They can use the Cami tools and PDF editor tools, like you see on my screen, to draw using and practice their map skills. They can label with the text boxes. They can also highlight text in many colors. So not only do students have access to this, but teachers and parents will be able to see their work if you wanted to, and teachers can comment back. Comment back using these same tools for students, or even download or print. So if you were at home and you wanted to print this out and then hand it in for the next day, you could definitely do that. So those are kind of what the print looks like, what the online will look like. But I want to talk about something I think is important to your district, and that's really supporting a culturally responsive classroom. And that can look a lot of different ways, but for us at Savvis, directed by our Savvis Advisory Board that you see on my screen, we really want students to have that experience of a classroom that's really rich in discussion, really rich in leading and hearing different voices, making sure that students are offered the opportunity to provide their own voices, to choose what kinds of experience they need or want, and then also write across many genres, experience different types of libraries, etc. So to that end, I want you to keep that lens in your head as I continue to talk about the program. One of the ways we offer student voice is with just the beginning of a topic, talking about the essential question. Why is culture important? And I know that some of you, when you're thinking about that question, you're thinking, well, it's important to me because, and then the person next to you might be thinking a different way. And that's really the goal, is let's engage in a discussion before we even continue on to this topic. So we might have that essential question conversation. We might have a writer's workshop or different kinds of circle rights where students are engaging with, are sharing their ideas. Additionally, we want students to engage with other things in the classroom, like digital interactives or active classroom strategies. There are many opportunities throughout the program to provide students ways to collaborate, to share viewpoints, to build speaking and listening skills and literacy skills. And teachers use these sometimes for just quick exit tickets or formative assessments. Now, when we think about a culturally responsive classroom, I really also want to talk about inquiry. And when we think about inquiry too, this is really where students are bringing in their own background knowledge. They're bringing in things they're interested in and applying that to the content of the topic. So in this particular quest, which is our inquiry project, students are going to create a museum exhibit. And these are all steeped in the C3 framework, which is really the overarching plan nationwide for how we should teach literacy and teach inquiry. So your students might have a project to do at home, a diorama, or creating a museum exhibit. They might have to write an essay or maybe even participate in a debate. And so teachers actually have support for this, but most importantly, students aren't just left by their own devices. They have project instructions. They'll have ways to capture their ideas and make connections. They'll have a project contract or graphic organizers, and then even rubrics to help them know what they need to do to get that really great grade. Now, many of our teachers know that some of our students aren't reading at full level. They need that extra support. So in the Teachers Edition, you'll find plenty of support for our students where English is not their native language. Perhaps our students need more advance and challenge based on what the way their learning style is. We want to make sure there are many opportunities for analyzing images, and even addressing different common misconceptions. And that's a really great place that you'll find hearing from a different perspective. This might be the narrative that the standards are asking us to teach, but let's talk about some other narratives. You're going to find that a lot in the program. Now, I want to take you all digitally online to our Savvas Realize platform, so you can see what this looks like digitally and what kind of supports we have for your students. So here's a lesson in that same chapter. I showed you earlier the video, the audio, all of that good stuff is right here in the text, but there's so much more online to support. There are digital interactives for students where they can click on different dots and learn more about the arts and literature of that time period. Maybe summarize what they've learned and answer here, or even engage with a check for a multiple choice question. These are great for formative assessments. Another type of digital interactive, and there are several kinds, is an interactive gallery where students can engage with different types of images. And I'm trying to go back to my images. There we go. I got to move my Zoom controls, everybody. There we go. Look at different images. And once we're done with those images, we would go again to have some short answers for that. Now, as a teacher, sometimes I might want to kick off a chapter with music. And so there are hip hop songs embedded in the program to connect students to the concepts of the chapter, as well as the vocabulary and concepts.
Union versus the Confederacy. The South had leaders like Robert E. Lee. The North devised the Anaconda Plan to blockade the seaports and split the South in half. The Battle of Shiloh made both sides cold. Thousands of soldiers was the death toll, but the bloodiest
I'll go ahead and stop it there, but those are for every chapter in the program. Now, we saw earlier the online text in Canvas, where students can hear the audio for the full online text in the book, but there are also other supports, lower level lesson summaries in English and in Spanish with accompanying audio if we needed to hear that as well. And another way we want to support our students who need additional, another way we want to support them is with our reading support questions. These are already built in. This might be something that gets sent home for homework. So it helps you as a parent or a loved one to help students with homework and fill in graphic organizers. Many opportunities are embedded for activities to practice analyzing language using every single lesson. So English language learners are fully supported in each lesson. And we talked about that interactive map. There are vocabulary games like matching, hangman, crosswords, etc. But even in the teacher's edition, there are supports for students. So when I'm a teacher and I'm teaching with this interactive gallery, I might use this active classroom strategy to really get students to talk about what they've just seen in that gallery. Let's project the painting and divide that painting into 4 numbered sections and have students tell what they see in each quadrant and have a deeper discussion. So lots of different supports in the teacher's edition itself. Looking at my time. One last thing I want to mention is that our program is fully, all of our assessments, our quizzes and chapter tests are fully customizable up to 5 different times and can be shared through Canvas with the blueprint feature. And then lastly, all teachers or anyone can upload a file into the program, add their own link, and really build their own program and the way they like to teach this content. They can use our content with a little bit of theirs and then use that in Canvas. Now, I want to just close up a little bit by talking about how we want to support you in the community as well as teachers. There is an entire Savvas Learning YouTube channel that you can go to even right now just to check out some of the videos, check out some of the Canvas integration and see how deep that integration goes. And then most importantly, we don't want parents to be at home wondering how to utilize the online portion. So we have provided a parents' corner that's online. It is actually provided in the languages that you see on the right side of my screen, because we really want parents and loved ones to understand how, get some tips to help their students at home, show videos, etc. And this can be really great at the beginning of the school year. Thanks. Thanks, Jean. So right now, I'm putting up the wrong title. I apologize. On the top, on my screen, you'll see there's a username and password that you can take a look deeper into this program. I'll leave it up here if you want to screenshot it, and then I will simply thank you for your time. So thanks again, Jean, for the 1 minute heads up.
Debbie, y'all, I can tell this is not your first rodeo. That was very right on the money. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, that is Savvas presenting us with the materials that are being currently considered for adoption. Thank you so much. Again, at 6:50, folks will have an opportunity to enter your breakout space and ask any questions of you. So thank you again. At this time, we would like to invite our representatives from Black History 365. They're going to be sharing information with their materials next. And so whenever we have Joe and or Henry ready to go, we will have them begin their presentation. And thank you again. Just a reminder, in case you didn't catch it the first time around, we do have Spanish interpreters here if you are needing access to the information in another language. We do have folks here. There is a button at the bottom of your computer with 3 dots that will allow you to get interpreting services if needed. And I think we're ready for you in the middle school.
No, is it not?
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, okay. I'm in the other thing. Okay.
They're going to be joining us in just a moment. They're navigating 2 different meetings tonight. So thank you for your patience. Here we go. I see Henry popping.
Like, I need to be a co-host. I apologize, so that I can share.
Mary, are you still available to make Henry a co-host so that he can share his screen? And if she's not, Henry, I know she's right around the corner.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Hey, are you able to make Henry Sandoval a co-host? Okay, thank you. I think she just made you one, Henry.
Okay, great. There
Thanks
we
for
go.
your patience.
Sure, thank you. All right, thank you again for your time. So this, I still won't go over time, so we'll be good. So again, my name is Henry Sandoval with Black History 365, and today I'm going to present to you the 6th through 8th curriculum that we offer here at Black History 365. And so Black History 365, we're an educational entity, and one of the most important aspects of the resource that we created is that we wanted to invite students, readers, really anybody who picks this textbook up or these textbooks up to become critical thinkers, compassionate listeners, fact-based, respectful communicators, and most importantly, action-oriented solutionists. So you will see as I go through the presentation that our textbook is built in order to engage students and really push the students to strengthen all of these abilities. Pictured here are our authors. At the top is our primary author, Dr. Walter Milton Jr. He is a native of Rochester, New York. He's a former school superintendent. He's a historian. He has worked at basically every level of the education system and is a published author. And it was during his time while working in the education system that he recognized there was a gap that needed to be filled, and that was for students of color to see themselves in a textbook, specifically a history textbook. So he made it his life's work to create what we now have as Black History 365. He partnered with Dr. Joel Freeman, who you see pictured at the bottom. Dr. Freeman, what he brings to this wonderful company is access to his privately held Black History Relic and Image collection. He has one of the largest privately held collections in the United States. And in fact, 45% of the images found in all of our textbooks are exclusive to his collection. Here's a quick snapshot of the districts you can find that are using Black History 365 across the United States. You can see that we are coast to coast, the largest school district in the United States. New York Public Schools is using Black History 365. They're in the Northwest, Seattle, Salem, Kaiser, Lane, Beaverton, and Oakland Unified School District as we continue to grow in the Northwest. So what's in our lower grade textbooks? So here I'm going to show you a snapshot. 6th grade, modern day Africa. They are theme-based is what you're going to find. 7th grade, Black influence from ancient Africa to modern times. And then 8th grade is the Black experience in America, early 1600s to the late 1800s. When we dive into our book, one thing we wanted to do is create a consistent experience for students as they transcend through their educational career. So a lot of what you find here is going to be the same thing that students will begin to use in our 9-12 textbook, as well in our early age textbooks. And that is the vocabulary is embedded into our textbooks. We did this to make it easy for defining words, and students can quickly reference that as they transcend through the material. The left-hand side is going to be more your 3 through 5, and on the right-hand side is going to be your more middle school. We also have sections called What It's All About. So we like to kickstart each unit and chapter with questions to really engage the students. We want to get them excited about what they're about to learn. We want to provide them some facts that are going to get them interested and want to know more about the information that's about to be provided. It will also give them an opportunity to reflect on the information as to what do they know prior to going into this material. We have pause and reflect spread throughout all of our lower grade level books. This gives the students an opportunity to stop, pause, and reflect on the information that they're learning. This creates engagement, whether it's within the classroom, peer-to-peer engagement. This also has hands-on engagement where students will, maybe as you can see there, how to make a scrap paper historical journal. They'll actually use that in the class. So it really provides them that hands-on experience for what they're learning there in their Black history class. You'll also see movers and shakers spread throughout all of our lower grade level books. And this provides students with a unique opportunity to really learn about individuals we deem as movers and shakers who have contributed to Black history throughout, whether it's ancient Africa all the way to modern times. And so this is a quick snippet of the amazing Queen Mothers of Ghana. Typically, these movers and shakers are 2 to 3 pages, and they really take a deep dive into the impact these individuals have had on Black history. We also have the Think Along, which is more of a teacher tool that they will use and learn how to use during their professional development. This is where, as we're introducing new topics, new ideas, new thoughts to students, we want to make sure that we're encouraging them along. We want to make sure that we're providing it in a way that is comprehensive and that they're able to apply to their everyday learning. And so as teachers go through their professional development, they will be fully supported with how to not only use this, but other tools that we have created for them. And I'll touch on that a little more during our professional development section. We also have Write About It. This is, it's really important to us here at Black History 365 that students are journaling and writing down their thoughts. And so we have sections at the end of each chapter where students will write down, we pose questions, usually it's 2 to 3 questions that we have already created to really jumpstart their mind and get them thinking about how does this apply to current day? How would they handle certain situations so that they can write this down, and it gives them an opportunity to reflect on what they've learned, but it also gives the teachers an opportunity to really see, engage, to make sure that the students are comprehending the information the way that it was designed. For our middle school books, we have virtual field trips that are built into our textbooks. So this gives students the opportunity to go, whether it's experience ancient Africa, they can go on museum tours, they can see modern day Africa, they get to really be immersed into the culture, whether it's from an art standpoint, clothing and food, whatever it may be. It really gives students a clear understanding of what they're learning, and it provides them an opportunity to learn about Black history in a way that has never been provided before. And then we also have the ebook application. So we have an ebook platform that goes along with our textbooks. So they're available in hardback and ebook. The ebook features some really engaging opportunities and features such as the interactive notepad, where students can write down their notes. It will save it in order of chapter. They can also highlight information from the text. There's 8 different colors. It'll save it in order of color, or they can choose chapter if they would like to. There's also digital interactive buttons where students can, everywhere there was a QR code, they can actually just click a button and it'll take them to the same videos. It'll take them to the same, all of that 21st century technology that is immersed in our hardback book. They have the same ability to see that. It has readback functionality, so you can slow back the pace at which the information is read. It provides all students equal opportunity to learn about Black history. We also have communication features. It's a two-way communication between the teacher and the student. So this gives them an opportunity to answer or ask questions in real time, and vice versa. The teacher can answer those or provide information and push it out to all of their students in real time as well. And then the professional development that will come along with this is really what makes this such a unique experience for the teachers, because you can make the best resource out there, but if they're not fully supported throughout the school year and really to begin the school year, then it could be a possible lost cause. So we want to make sure that we provide your teachers with everything they need to be fully supported. And in order to do that, we have a 3-prong approach. First is create a safe environment in the classroom for the teachers to learn and grow. They can kind of let their hair down, let some topics onto the table that may be either challenging or they're excited to learn about, or whatever the case may be, and they can talk through that as a group. Enhancing the teacher's understanding of implicit bias, being able to assist them with setting up their classroom and focusing on all cultural backgrounds and making sure all students are heard and feel welcomed within their class. And then equipping teachers with the tools to create a positive learning experience. So we have tools that have been created to really assist the teachers to ensure that that happens. And here's a quick snapshot of what would be provided to your teachers with the purchase. They would initially receive a 1-day facilitator training where they really kind of just build out their classroom, understand the information that they have been provided as a resource. They'll work on some simple practices with the tools that are provided to enhance the student experience. They will also have on-demand instructional support. So they will have their trainer will actually turn into their coach for the entire school year. So if Portland Public Schools were to purchase for this coming school year, the entire 2023-2024 school year, they would be supported to be able to ask their trainer for questions, help build out lesson plans, help infuse it into their everyday classrooms. It really creates that experience for the teachers and the students. And then there's ongoing facilitator check-ins. These are 2-hour sessions that your teachers will have an option to attend. And this will provide them an opportunity to work with other teachers from around the regional area who are using Black History 365, and they can bounce ideas off of them. They can learn about any updates that have been provided to our ebook. And that's one thing I'd like to share too, is that our ebook application is going to be updated every year. So Portland Public Schools would always have the most up-to-date and relevant Black history textbook or resource for their students if they chose to utilize Black History 365. And so that is the presentation. I'd like to thank you for your time, and I'll be hanging